Hey everyone, GuardianE here with another live reaction and first impression video for Fire Emblem Heroes. Tonight we're going to be getting a new Heroes banner. Hot off of the heels of the Adrift banner, that was pretty controversial, for good reason. But despite all that, if I were a betting man, I would say that we're probably going to be getting Awakening alts tonight. Only because, again, the fact that they made the announcement that some older games would get some representation early next year leads me to believe that we're probably going to get a series of more current games. So I'm expecting some Awakening, maybe a mixed banner, maybe some Valencia, that'd be cool too. But I'm not really expecting the alt train to end anytime soon. I could be wrong, and we'll see in just a few moments, but that's just my prediction. Okay, here we are, the trailer just dropped. Let's take a look at what we've got here. New heroes join the battle. Fresh snowfall.
I come from the land of boing 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 snow.
Boing 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 what? Okay, so it looks like, I guess it's going to be the rest of the hero's original characters. Ylgr. I did not peg her.
I'm having so much fun.
I did not peg her for being a blue dagger unit. Ruler of Flame. Oh, is it going to be Surtr?
I am Surtr, king of Moosemen. Bow before me.
Okay. Surtr. Okay, he does have that, the effect on his weapon that he did in the story. What? Are you serious? It's just 2 units? That sucks. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, that sucks. That's ass. Come on. Oh, come on. Okay. Well, that was really, I told you guys what I was expecting. I was not expecting that. That is an underwhelming banner if I've ever seen one. We've never had a 2-person banner in the history of the game. I will say, if any of you out there are big fans of Ylgr or Surtr, this is the best chance you will ever have of getting those characters, because assuming the 3% focus, that means you technically have a 1.5% chance of getting each character. So, fans out there of Ylgr and Surtr, those that want to plus 10 these units, get those orbs ready, because you're going to go on a spending spree this coming Thanksgiving, or whenever this thing drops. So, I didn't even see anything on the map. I was so surprised and caught off guard the fact that it's only 2 units. I didn't even look. I didn't see any, Tempest Trial or Grand Hero Battle or... not Grand Hero Battle, just Tempest Trial, or other free units that would be dropped in addition to these characters. Ugh. Look, I think we knew we were going to get these characters. At least Surtr, I think most people expected we would get him at some point. Ylgr, most people expected we would get her at some point. I thought that maybe Ylgr would have a much bigger role in Book 3, and then it would make a lot more sense for us to get her. That made sense to me. The other kind of issue here is that they could have had a 3-person banner by adding Creed to this, and they didn't. I don't know if that means that Creed is going to be a legendary hero. A lot of people expect the next legendary heroes for the rest of the year to be colorless, so it doesn't make a ton of sense for Creed to be a legendary hero in that sense. Maybe he's going to play a bigger role in Book 3. I'm not sure who's going to be excited about this banner. I don't think there are a lot of Surtr fans out there in general. And, Ylgr, I think some people like her, but it's just, again, I feel like I think most of us expected her to just have a bigger role in Book 3, and it'd be more opportunistic to have a banner with her on released during that time, but... Well, nevertheless, let's take another look at their skills, see what they have to offer. New heroes join the battle. Yeah, they didn't even have like the Flash of Fire Emblem Heroes as the characters. Okay, Ylgr, we know what her art looks like. I am surprised that she's a blue dagger unit. She's infantry. Let's pause here, take a look at her skills. Okay, so she's got 5 skills. Doesn't seem like Surtr or Ylgr are going to be demoted. They're probably going to stay 5-star locked. So Ylgr is her weapon. It's 14 Might Dagger, grants speed +3. That's always good. At the start of combat, if unit speed is greater than foe's speed, grants attack and speed +4 during combat. After combat, if unit attacked, inflicts a debuff. That's actually kind of interesting, because if you think about it, it works on both player phase and enemy phase. And as long as her speed is 1 over her opponent, that means that she's going to be able to double them. Because obviously you need 5 speed over your opponent to double them. If she has 1 speed over her opponent, she gets another 4 speed. And then that will be 5 speed, so she can double. So as long as she has 1 speed over her opponent, she can double them. So that's actually kind of interesting. We have Glimmer for the special. Sorcery Blade 3 for the A slot. At start of combat, if unit is adjacent to a magic ally, calculates damage using the low... So it's... Ooh, okay. Interesting. So that's adaptive damage. So it's an A slot adaptive damage. And it looks like it might be inheritable. I mean, it says Sorcery Blade 3. She also has Chill Speed 3, which is amazing. I'm almost tempted to pull on this just to get Chill Speed 3 fodder. Because I've been wanting Chill Speed 3 fodder for a while now. This is actually the best chance to get Chill Speed 3, because I have a 1.5% chance of getting Chill Speed 3. And then there's Speed Tactic 3, which is, tactic skills are tactic skills. They're fine for mixed hybrid teams. And those two work in tandem, obviously, with Ylgr, because she just wants to have at least 1 speed over her opponent. But I'm really interested in that Sorcery Blade 3. Knowing my luck, Sorcery Blade 3 is going to be locked to infantry units. And they've really been sort of pumping and trying to buff infantry units in a big way. So don't be surprised if this is locked to infantry. But that it's interesting, for sure. To me, I feel like Sorcery Blade 3 would feel a lot stronger in the B or C slots. So, they are releasing some of these popular A slot skills as seals. It's not a terrible option to have one of those, like a Brazen Attack Res 3 or an Attack Defense Bond 3 for your seal, and have Sorcery Blade 3 as your A slot. That adaptive damage is a very, very powerful asset. Keep in mind that dragons have adaptive damage, but they only have adaptive damage for range against ranged units. Sorcery Blade 3 is against anybody. That means those armors that are very specialized, those units that are very, very specialized in having huge amounts of res or huge amounts of defense, they're going to crumble against this skill. And again, you can have a pretty powerful A-slot replacement as your seal instead. So I think that's a very valuable skill. I would be interested in playing around with that skill for sure. Unfortunately, again, I have a sneaking suspicion that it's going to be locked to infantry. If you run infantry and you love infantry, that's great for you, but since I predominantly use flyers, it's not going to be similar to Null Follow-Up, which was a skill that I wanted to see if I could run on my flyers. I think this skill also is going to be locked to infantry, but I guess we'll see. All right, well, let's continue with this.
Having so much fun.
Okay. Ruler of Flame.
I am Surtr, King of Moosepell. Bow before.
Huh, I wonder who his voice is. Alright, well, let's pause here. So, Sinmara is his axe, 16 Might Axe, grants defense +3. At the start of turn, deals 20 damage to foes within 2 spaces. 20 damage is a lot. And given that the average HP of a given unit currently, I think, is mid-40s. 20 damage is that's a good bit. Of course, that also means it's going to activate a bunch of powerful skills like Brazens, Desperation, Vantage. But it can be helpful, certainly. Especially for Aether Raids, I think it could be helpful because he's basically a portable bolt tower, in some ways at least. Bonfire for the special. Steady Stance 4. Okay, so we got our second 4th tier skill. First was Deathblow 4, now we've got Steady Stance 4. If foe initiates combat, grants defense +8 during combat and inflicts special cooldown charge -1 on foe per attack. Yeah. Okay. So, it's a more powerful steady stance, plus it has guard built into it. So, I mean, that's just way, way better. With Deathblow 4, you had just the stat increase. With Steady Stance 4, you're getting an additional application or an additional function of the skill, which it's not the worst thing in the world, because the stance skills were, quite frankly, pretty lackluster, especially in light of the fact that breath skills were available in almost all instances. So because of that, I do think that the stance skills needed an additional something, and it does kind of make natural sense for them to have a guard effect when the breath skills have a reduction of cooldown effect on your unit. So that's fine, I guess. Wary Fighter 3, Surtr's Menace for the C slot. Okay, at the start of the turn, if unit is within 2 spaces of a foe, grants attack speed defense res +4 for 1 turn, inflicts attack speed defense res -4 on foes within 2 spaces through their next actions. Okay? That's an interesting skill. It's like a threaten everything plus an opposite tactic skill everything a little bit. It will encourage people sniping with ranged units on player phase against him. What it's basically going to do, I think, is it's going to eliminate a lot of enemy phase tactics against him. So what Surtr's Menace is intended to do, it's intended to encourage people attacking into him. And then you have Steady Stance 4 and Wary Fighter 3. So I do see the synergy there. It doesn't seem too crazy of a skill. It seems manageable, at least. Seems interesting and powerful, but certainly something that's not gonna shake up the meta in any way, I don't believe. I do think that the stance skills, like I said, needed a little boost, and I think that's having guard on it is a great boost, because guard in and of itself is also kind of a lackluster skill, because it's already starting to be just attached onto other skills that armors can use. So why not just attach it to other skills, because it's very useful, especially in a meta where a lot of units out there rely on really powerful specials and one-shot crits and things like that. All right, let's continue.
Scatter like ash.
Let's actually pause there, because we can actually calculate his defensive stat here. So he has Bonfire for his special, right? His Sinmara grants defense +3, and Steady Stance 4, because the enemy is attacking into him, gives him defense +8. I mean, I don't know if we should assume that Surtr's Menace is active or not. I'm just going to assume that Surtr's Menace is not active for just these purposes. So he's getting +11 defense from his skills. We take a look at the damage that he does on Bonfire. Alright, so he does 69 damage, which is 27 damage over 42, which is the listed damage. So if we multiply that by 2, that's 54 defense. 54 defense minus 11, which is the defense that's activated by his skills, right? So that means he has 43 defense. And that's assuming that Surtr's Menace isn't active. If Surtr's Menace is active, that means that it could range from... However, if Surtr's Menace was active, that means he could have 39 defense. So either 39 or 43 defense is probably what we're looking at for Surtr at a baseline. Okay, so Paralog Story, Whispers of Death. So it looks like Surtr's still around. The Rites of Flame, the Temple. I don't know if that's like his death rattle or if he is still going to be around. I'm not really happy to see him. I really think that his arc should be over at this point. I don't think anybody really cares that he's still around. I think he should just stay dead. But it looks like Loki is in the temple, is what they're talking about, and you have to duel Loki. So it might be that Loki's trying to resurrect Surtr, maybe, which is weird because honestly, I feel like Loki doesn't really care about Surtr. I feel like Loki's working for somebody else, or for herself. I don't know why she would try to resurrect Surtr, but whatever. I guess we'll see. I guess we'll see how things shake out. I mean, it is interesting that we're seeing Surtr have a written line in the paralogue at least, so he's not dead. He might be on the verge of death. I don't know. The dude just needs to stay dead because, frankly, I think most people out there at this point are sick of him. Let's move on to greener pastures and something that's just more interesting. So for me personally, I don't know if I'm going to pull on this. It's a great chance to get some good fodder. I don't have an affinity for either of these characters. I wouldn't really use them in any capacity. But it's a good opportunity to get these skills. So I don't know. I'm usually not one to go in on a banner just to get some fodder. But again, this is a pretty good chance. Part of it is going to depend on whether that skill that's on Ylgr is locked to infantry or not. If it is locked to infantry, then that's a no-brainer. I'm not even going to bother on this banner at all. If it isn't locked to infantry and I can use it on flyers, then we'll take a second look. But let me know in the comments below if you're excited for this banner, if you're going to be pulling on it. If you do, I wish you the best of luck. I really do hope that you get all of the banner units that you're looking for sure. And hopefully merges, because again, this is going to be the best chance to get these two characters. Thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate you guys coming along for the ride and watching this reveal trailer for the first time with us. Hopefully you enjoyed, and if you did, feel free to leave us a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more Fire Emblem Heroes content. And until next time, let's protect those skies.